Welcome back to my channel, Happy, Healthy, Whole. Today, I want to talk about some red flags. They may seem obvious, but people tend to ignore these. So sometimes when we hear something coming from a third party, we tend to pay more attention when we actually hear it in our real lives. And these are in no particular order, but they're just red flags that you need to watch out for if you are in the beginning of a relationship or if you're just meeting someone and you guys are in that quote unquote talking phase or what have you. Maybe you've been out on a date with them and maybe you haven't, but if these things start to come up, just let your spidey senses. If they can't give you a logic behind why they're saying certain things or why they're asking you for certain things, then, because everybody goes through certain things at certain times. But anyway, first red flag. If a man or woman talks about their ex too much, and when I say too much, like I met this guy, our very first conversation, he talked about his ex for 2 hours. 2 hours. And I'm sitting here thinking, is he waiting on this woman to come back to him? Why is this instead of him trying to get to know me and talk to me about me and talk to me about, like what my aspirations are or anything about, didn't even ask me really about my past relationships or my ex-husband or anything like that. Just literally just talked about this woman for 2 hours. And in my mind, I was like, he must be sitting at the house waiting on her to come back, because nobody puts that much energy into somebody, especially when they have a new somebody on the phone that they could be getting to know and learning more about. So that's a red flag when somebody is constantly talking about their ex. I met this guy, another guy. He had recently been divorced or filed for divorce, and they were separated. They weren't divorced yet. And every time I talked to him, he was talking about her. He was like, oh, and if I was her, I would have stayed. And that was the key. But that was where I said, okay, this man isn't over this, because he feels like that even if this woman found out something bad about him or found out something that she didn't like about him, she should have stayed with him. So, yeah, if they talk about their ex way too much, red flag. Because as soon as that woman wants them back, or as soon as they see an opportunity to be with that person, you are out of the picture and they are back over there kissing that person's feet or whatever. Maybe not their feet. Red. You can fill in the blank. Red flag number 2, asking for money. If you meet somebody and you've just met them, you've maybe been out on a couple of dates with them or whatever, if they start asking you for money, they start, hemming and hawing about, oh man, I'm struggling and this and that, and I need some money to pay this bill, or I just need something to tie me over. Red flag. Because you're letting me know that you don't know how to manage money. Because before you met me, you've just met me, and you've been living an independent adult lifestyle for X amount of years before you met me. And all of a sudden, you going through a rough patch. All of a sudden, you need a bill. You need some money for this bill. These bills come every month. How do you not have your bill money allocated? How are you out here living in the world and don't, That's red flag number 2. I don't care what nobody say, male or female. This is for the men too. If you just met a woman and all of a sudden, and y'all haven't been dating that very long or whatever, and she needs to be in your pocket just to get by. Oh no. We starting off on the wrong foot. Because this time it'll be $100. Next time it'll be $200. Next time it's gonna be rent money. Next time it's gonna be car note money. As long as they know that they can take advantage of you that way, they will continue to take advantage of you that way, and they may not even like you. I remember there's this one guy on my job, and he is the sweetest guy. He is just so sweet. But he always tends to find these women that are just opportunistic. Yeah. And the bad part about it is everybody in his family takes advantage of him. It's not just women. It's like his dad and this person and that person. They always call him, hey man, I'm in a rough patch. Can you? And he's always going in his pocket. He's always giving. And it's sad. It's real sad that he continues to let people take advantage of him like that, because the next thing he know, that woman that he was bailing out or that he was buying Christmas gift for her kids and doing all of this, that, and the third for, she gone a couple of months later. Or as soon as he say, I gotta wait till my payday, or I don't have it right now. As soon as he ain't got it, she gone. Nah, that's red flag number 2. Red flag number 3. So we got talking about ex, asking for money, sexual history is my red flag number 3. We're all grown, and we've all been out in the world, okay? When I meet somebody, I'm assuming that person has had sex before, because usually the people I meet are in their 40s and their 50s, like myself. I'm in my 40s. So I'm not going to act like all this is new to you. But if I sit down and I have a conversation with you after we've been dating for a while, and I say, and we may be getting to that point, and I say, well, when was the last time you've been to a doctor? And what is your sexual health? And they either don't want to answer the question, or they go ballistic and be like, I'm clean, I'm this, I'm that. If we can't have an adult conversation about sexual history, then I'm not asking them how many women they've had sex with and all of that kind of stuff. All I'm asking them about is their sexual health. When was the last time you've been to the doctor? When was the last time you had blood work drawn? When was the last, you know what I'm saying? I want to know, does this person go to the doctor every year? Do they get help, annual checkups, stuff like that? If you got a problem with me talking to you about that, red flag number 3. And I'm not playing those games. Red flag number 4, excessive calling. If you've just met somebody and they call you excessively, and what I mean by excessively, like they'll call you one time, you don't answer the phone because you may be at work, or you may be in the shower. You may be, your hands may be full because I've been in the kitchen like chopping up vegetables, and I've seen the phone, be like, oh, okay, I'll call them back when I finish cooking my meal or whatever, so I can sit down and have a conversation. If you call me back 2-3 times in a row, like, why you not answer the phone? Then text me and say, hey, I'm calling you. Sir, I need you to get your life. I need you to get your life in order immediately. Okay? I will call you when I have a minute. Just because somebody doesn't call you immediately, that does not mean, or don't answer every call, that does not mean that they're out doing something else. And if you turn around and text me that you're calling me and I'm not by my phone, I didn't see the text anyway. So what are we doing? Like, red flag. Okay? That excessive calling, It's not a good look. It's not a good look. You call somebody one time, maybe even twice, just in case you think that they couldn't get to their phone. Then you leave it. Because our phones, everybody has a cell phone nowadays. Our phone is going to let us know that you called. It's not like we can be like, oh, I ain't even know you had called me. We can't get away with that nowadays. You always know when someone has called you. So give me a minute to do what I'm doing. Give me a minute to get off the toilet or whatever I'm doing. Just give me a minute. I'll call you back. But if I see you being excessive with calling me, I'm not. I'm not. And to piggyback off of that, if somebody blocks you, don't be blocking out your number and still trying to call them, or calling them from somebody else's phone, or calling them from your other phone. Leave it alone. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you. And they don't have to give you a reason. If they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to talk to you. Just leave it alone. I promise you. I promise you, you'll be better off. You'll be better off. But don't be blocking out your number, still calling and leaving messages talking about take them off a block. I had this one man, he was an older guy. Oh God, he was so irritating. And he used to be like, won't you take me off the road block? Oh, it was so old and country and just irritating. That's why he was on block. And my last and final one. And this goes both ways, believe it or not, because I even had a man to say this to me. If people start talking to you about babies, like if you don't have babies, if you don't have a child, and you are just meeting somebody, if somebody starts bringing up having a baby, like immediately, that is a red flag. Oh, y'all, that is a red flag. And watch out for that. Because a lot of times people will try to have babies to have more control over you. Okay. Or try to get somebody pregnant just so that they can have some kind of connection to you. And it don't even be about the baby. They don't really even want the baby. What they want is they want a way to control you. Because that's what my ex-husband, because my son is grown. And if he really wanted the baby and if he really wanted to have a relationship with my son, he has the availability to have a relationship with my son to where I don't have to be involved at all. But he has no relationship with my son. My son has to go out of his way to try to call him and go see him and go spend time with him and go do stuff. He never calls him. He never checks on him. He doesn't care. Once he realized he could no longer use the child to control me or control what I'm doing, he was done with it. Once he realized that his idea of getting me pregnant wasn't going to work forever, as far as like controlling my life, he ain't got no interest in that child. And that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. But I have recently, even though I'm in my 40s, I have recently had a man to say that mess to me. He was like, I ought to get you pregnant, because he wanted me to come over. And I didn't feel like getting up off my couch. I was relaxing. And I was like, maybe next weekend. He was like, you know what? I ought to get you pregnant. That way you'll have to come over here, because I'm going to get custody of the baby and you'll have to come over here to see the child. Where they do that at? What is going on in these men's mind? Like, I'm listening to him on the phone. I'm like, oh, red flag. He got blocked. Just so you know, he got blocked after he said that mess to me. I was like, oh no. Oh no. Too much. Too much.com. I'm not putting up with it. So, red flags, ladies and gentlemen. Money. Talking about the ex too much. Talking about babies. And you ain't even trying to have no baby. Y'all just met. Or using baby talk to control you in some kind of way. And what was the other one? Excessive phone calls. Don't play that game. And sexual history. They will not talk to you about their sexual history. Ghost them.